Hello and welcome to Techlife to Go, a platform where we spotlight innovation, technology and digital transformation shaping Africa's future. At Techlife we engage thought leaders, industry experts and change makers who are driving progress and bridging digital gaps across the continent. Today, we will be delving into a crucial conversation on the struggle for connectivity in Nigeria's rural communities. Joining me today is Dr. Tola Yusuf, the co-founder of INFRATEL Africa, a visionary leader dedicated to expanding infrastructure and improving access to reliable connectivity in underserved areas. He will be sharing insights on the challenges, the progress so far, and the strategies needed to achieve digital inclusion in Nigeria. So stay with us because it's actually going to be an eye-opening session. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Techlife to Go. Of course, for more informative, insightful interviews and tech conversation that matters. Welcome back to this show. As Eya said, I am Ugochi Emmanuel, and with us on this program today is Dr. Tola Yusuf, the co-founder of INFRATEL Africa. Welcome again to this program, sir.
Thank you very much.
So how's work been generally?
Yeah, it's been very tough, but it all get going. So we push it about.
Do we have a choice? We just have to
We
keep
don't have a
going.
choice, exactly.
Just have to keep going. See, so talking about this keep going and keep getting tough, and then talking about this rural community, we obviously know that connectivity has actually made a giant stride. Talking about giant strides in the should I say the urban areas, but the rural community still remain largely disconnected. Can you paint a picture of what that connectivity looks like in that area?
Okay, I think first we must commend how far we have gone in terms of closing the gap in respect of inclusion in Nigeria.
Nigeria, yeah.
When you place Nigeria with most of these African countries, you see that we've made a lot of giant strides in terms of what we've been able to do.
Okay.
Today it's likely placed at about 23 million people in the last 2024 access their cluster of the USPN. Still that is very likely underserved and unserved. And I think if you look at where we are coming from those days, with a very good number of connectivity gap, a lot of achievement has been done. However, we cannot fail away from the fact that there is still a lot that needs to be done. When you're talking about 20-something million, people are still rapidly in this unconnectivity issue. It shows that you still have to innovate and do more. The truth of the matter is most of our solutions are currently solving the problem. However, we need to innovate more and see what we can do to box on trend further. And that is exactly what's about. And I think Nigeria has made a lot of policy, most especially this government, in terms that are making their stride in terms of connectivity, enabling the environment to be able for people to be able to put infrastructure in. As I used to say, inclusion has to be very intentional, not inspirational.
Yeah.
You have to be intentional by those actions that you do, those policy, and or even including the technology and those enabling environment in place, not just a mere saying or inspirational messages. It has to be very intentional. And those are the challenges are still there. They are closing the gap, and I think more can be.
Talking about the challenges, what are these main factors that are actually hindering the internet and mobile connectivity in those areas, these rural areas?
Okay, I think there are a lot of current headway we can make if we can solve some of this problem. And I will not be putting into one. I'd say among others, the range between some sort of policy coherence. I'll start with policy because I think that is the umbrella that drives. So there should be some sort of policy coherence. For me, I see very likely we have policy that policy on connectivity, policy on power, and policy on different arm of rural that I think we need to bring together, and it should not exist in silo. Most especially when it comes to power and connectivity. There cannot be connectivity without power. And likely the statistics put it that about 80 million people are still unconnected. They have unreliable power supplies. So at this stage, so we have about 80 million people. That means connectivity in those places has to be innovative to be able to do it, in the sense that it means when you are taking connectivity to those people, there is no reliable power. You have to generate power somehow. So there should be intentional actions that galvanizes both power and connectivity for us to be able to do that. So that's one thing that we're talking in terms of policy. Again, I think very likely that beyond, I think government through USPF and other medium is giving subsidy. NGOs are sometimes giving grants to drive this connectivity. But I think government can still do more in terms of tax incentive, some sort of creating an enabling environment that enhances power and connectivity to go together. Probably solar panel, all those stuff. How do we, probably when you are importing them, if we are not creating them locally? I think there are some companies. The first thing is to see how we follow energize and do this thing locally. Because even the lithiums and some of the components we do some of these things are taken from Nigeria and we export them outside and bring them in back.
Wow.
I don't think that should be what we should create, an enabling environment that help this company to produce locally.
Yeah.
So, and if we have to import, there should be some sort of rebate on tariff or take tariff off so that this thing can come easily and then reduce the cost. Again, in terms of having to groom the next generation that will do this resources, it's no news that the government is having two major initiatives, which is the 90,000 kilometer of fiber and 7,000 rural stations. These are very, very laudable and big projects. However, who are the people that are going to do it?
Exactly.
We are not oblivious of the fact that there is a Japa syndrome that ravaged this country largely between 2020 to 2024. I don't know if it is still on the high rise today, but a lot of the teeming youth have strayed away, probably to the Western world. And it is still happening.
It is still happening.
Should I say we are beneficiary, quote and unquote. Most of our staff that are very, very good as well. So, and the pipeline we have to put in place is to see how we train the young one to take this shoe, because we cannot control the fact that people will go. So I think there should be some intentional approach that government should create to be able to create pool of resources, not only to deploy this project, but to maintain and service this project. It will be a very, very great service if we have to go to India and other countries, China, to bring human resources to come and do this job for us. So I think there should be intentional policies that will support having to develop very good capacity.
When you talk about these intentional policies, like you have mentioned, can you be specific to an extent? Okay,
I was privileged last week, I think it was last week, to attend a Digital Economic Inclusion Summit that was arranged by SEC, the Digital Economic Department. And one of the things I thought they did very correctly and right is the fact that more than 70% of that population was dominated by students and people with disabilities. I think that is a very, very good approach. When you are able to get students from very young age integrated into the system,
You grow them, you groom them.
The pool. Most of the time, we have engineering courses, we have all these things, but most of these students and kids have not seen this thing, they have not felt it. What they do is just the theory, which we all did in school. I think when I was in school in the days, we did different kind of computer courses, programming languages that I never till I left school have opportunity to program anything on any laptop or desktop. Not until when you get to the industry. By the time you get to the industry, you just start reading. But just imagine the fact that from school, this is already part of you.
Yeah.
You're already doing it, you're already feeling it, you're already taking all this action. So by the time you're getting into the industry, you are from the one giving value. So I think there should be intentional approach to be able to integrate the classroom to the industry. Classroom and industry coming together. That's number one. The second one is being able to bring the research institutions to the industry as well. Because I don't see reasons why till today we are not either making any of this equipment we use to do these services or being able to manage them ourselves. We go offshore to take the blue dollars, FX, to go and buy them from China, Canada, US, and all these things. But I think there should be some intentional approach whereby we bring some of those industries into the country. Get our research institution to partner with them, get our kid to have a feel of them. And by the time we are able to do that, we are able to lower the cost of entry, not just by having not to take our currency have to exchange to dollar, but we do them locally and we localize the purchase, we mineralize it, let me use that word, it's permitted, that we are going to be selling this equipment in Naira. It's going to save us because we are going to take up the fact that we have to change to FX. We are going to take up the fact that there are going to be logistic of shipping them down, the timeline, and there's not going to be clearing. So all these things will help the entry level to be able to get into this.
Wow.
And most importantly, managing these things. About 30 to 40% of the cost of running network, about 30 to 40% of our costs go to running the network. And most of the time, where we don't have expertise, but for level 3 support or stuff, we take them offshore. And then you pay $1 again to be able to manage. And sometimes when I hear that cost of data, we are blaming all these mobile network operator, NTN, Intel, they are too expensive. You wonder, what is the cost with which these people are ensuring working? But if we are able to buck the trend by making sure these activities are domiciled locally, we can make a lot of achievement and lower the cost of this resources.
Okay, so how important is this collaboration between the government and the private sector, especially in closing this connectivity gap?
I think it's the engine that will drive connectivity to Eldorado, in the sense that collaborations, cooperations will be the tool that will get us to be able to close those things. And when I mean collaboration and cooperation, it goes between all the stakeholders from government, industry players, even the media, even the OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, the financial institutions. All of us need to find a way to work together and work towards this common goal in our own different strengths. Government, the right policy, the right enabling environment, and every other person will bring it. And I think that is the one singular way we can be able to make the giant strike in this.
Okay, still talking about government and their policies. Now, do you think are there current policies that are actually supportive enough to encourage investments, especially as we talk about in the rural broadband infrastructure?
I think there are a lot of policies that are actually supportive enough to be able to drive it.
Yeah.
We must not feel away from the fact that a lot is done and a lot is being done. I'm privileged to see some of the laudable policy by the
government.
by the government through the Honorable Minister. And I think those initiatives are very, very laudable because they've been able to break them down right from the infrastructure side to the human capacity building. I'm sure you are aware of the 3 million.
Yes.
So and many other structural verticals that I think is going to help. What I think we need to do is to still push the narrative and be aggressive how we push all those narratives. But I think the policy are actually in place.
Okay, as co-founder of INFRATEL, of course the organization has played a vital role in expanding infrastructure. What would you say are the specific challenges that you have encountered so far when deploying all of this connectivity infrastructure, especially in these our remote areas?
I think there are myriad of challenges.
I can imagine.
If we have to stay here and give all the challenges, we might not be able to end it in a short time. But, as they say, challenges are the food of champions. But let me just list some.
Big ones. Challenges are the food of champions.
So, if there are no challenges, any rookie will do it. So we have to face it because there are challenges, and we'll find a way to solve some of those problems as experts. So, but I will start from very likely from financing. About 70% of the infrastructure deployment in rural are FS dominated, in the sense that you have to look for money, not just get local funding. You get them in either dollar or FX. I have to go and buy these things. The turnaround, minimum turnaround time is 3 months. Minimum turnaround time, minimum. That's if you are going to even affect them. That a lot push the narrative. I think this is one of the things that most of the time delay the delivery. Before you have to have a bankable business case, goes to financial, get them to buy into it, provide the funds, the fundings, turn the funding to SMS, to FS, and then have to go to offshore to get them. If you are shipping by sea, minimum 3 months before you clear them. So you find out that the turnaround time, even before you can get deployment done, is something in the neighborhood of 6 months. So from planning to implementation, if time is not taken, you might be ravaging 9 to 1 year. I think it's a very long time. And that's one of the solutions I'm thinking, that we should find a way to domesticate most of this as much as possible. Because it's going to help entry. That's number one. Number two, I think there is multiple taxation laws. We get tax everywhere. We get tax everywhere.
And the tax still comes up. I don't know.
I don't even know the number of places you get tax. You just see them and you start negotiating on just how to move forward. There is the federal tax, there is the LRS, if you are in Lagos or any other
they are everywhere.
There is permit, there is omoniles, I can't count the numbers of tax directly and indirectly that it does. And at the end of the day, it becomes some sort of deterrent, or it doesn't let you get the right numbers that you are pushing for. And that's a major challenge.
What about security?
That's number 3. That's my number 3. So the number 3 is security. The current security situation in this country is something that I think is worrisome at this moment. It's quite worrisome. We've been able to manage it to deploy, but now I get most of the time when we deploy rural. So that means we go into the deep rural. So most of the time when your wards complain or says, oh, there are bandits around this area, that means that community cannot be connected. Because you just say, come back. There's no English, no negotiation. You don't negotiate people's life. You say, come back. And on most cases, communities that you felt that there are a lot of people that are there, that you want to connect, you have done a lot of planning on them, you've done geomarketing, you've done survey, cancelled. And you can do. So it has affected us a lot. That is that. In case, I recently traveled to a community not too far from Abuja. It's a Kuje local government called Lago. And what we saw there in terms of population is quite alarming. We saw close to 10,000 people in a community that really does not have connectivity. Thank God to USP, it was a USP of sponsored projects, and those people are recently connected. But before getting to that community, it's about 2 hours from Wabalaga. You will see pockets of communities on the way that are not connected. No network.
And people are staying there.
You will see a lot of people in this community. God forbid, when there are security situations, how do they communicate? So, however, as we were there, my heart was in my mouth. In the sense that I was scared. Because you see area of lands and there's no human being. You see agriculture, there's no human being. So I think a lot of security situation are pushing us back being able to do it much as we would have done. If the security situation is on a low end, I think we will be able to. There are cases where we have to take either police or army to go and help them. That is even in deploy. What are cases where the site is down, maybe it might just be split technical situation.
And you have to go there to
and we have to go there. And then we can go there. We have to go for security, NCDC and all those things. And at the end of the day, this thing balloon the cost. And then they have major determinant as well. We don't let business happen. The next one is the cost of bandwidth. When I say bandwidth, most of the rural area, you cannot connect by microwave or fiber. Fiber majorly ends on kilos and all those distributaries and metros and cities. So you are forced to use satellites. The cost of some of the terminal of satellites are prohibitive. I will not want to mention specific satellite providers exactly, but I was recently deploying a geosatellite that the terminal cost is about 3.3 million. That is, I'm not talking about the bandwidth I'm going to pay, I'm talking about the satellite, the dish, the modem, the PUC, and all those kits. Alone. We're not talking about the passive deployment, not talking about the radio, not talking about the power, just the terminal devices. And you are still going to be paying the bandwidth cost every month. These are quite prohibitive. And there should be other medium to be able to do it. There are innovative ways that the geosatellites are bringing in. As we buy into it, I believe those problems will face out. At current stage, these are some of the problems that are ravaging us at the center stage.
Okay, going back to your responses on security, in your own perspective, what measures do you think should be put in place to curb these security issues?
Well, I think the security situation is beyond personal perspective.
I can imagine.
It's much more of a state matter, and at this moment it's becoming a global perspective in terms of security. But very, very likely, I think the security situation is one area that the government needs to focus on at this moment. Because it seems that some of the gain we have as a country in the last 2-3 years is likely being eroded by the current security situation that we all need to begin to look at. So before, I was briefing you before this interview that my community, a local government headquarters, where I grew up in my primary and secondary, I have never seen the situation that's currently happening in my place. About or close to 10 people has been kidnapped.
Wow.
They are not kidnapped when they are on the road. Okay. Bandits come to the village, take them, and go. As I'm talking to you, husband and wife has been there for the last 6 weeks, and negotiation has been on. Until we find a way to tell our own story and find a local solution to it, I don't think this thing is going to work. I was talking to some of the stakeholders in my village and say what exactly they are doing about it. And they say, we are working on it. Because the truth is that if some of these people are not selling us out, they will not be pinpointing and telling people. Because they carry people the way they can collect money. 100 million, and they say 100 million or nothing. At the end of the day, some of these people, by the time they come back and they don't pay the money, they die.
Because of the trauma.
Because of the trauma. There are many cases. They carry king, they carry everything. So it's quite unpalatable at the moment, and it takes a lot of willpower to be able to sort the security situation in Nigeria. But I think as a country, we need to come to time and say this is a problem we all need to resolve and have concerted effort to be able to kill it. But it's beyond one person's perspective. We have to come together, the security, the community, the people, and as a nation, that we need to solve this problem. That's what I think about the security situation, because I've never seen it this bad. I have deployments that we are trying to do now at this moment because we want to catch up with Christmas. To make sure that people are able to make calls in their villages. We are beginning to discount it because of the security situation. We wanted to do about 60 locations, 60 communities before Christmas. And we had a meeting this morning and said, don't you think we should discount it? Why? Security situation. We don't want to send anybody to a location where their security will be compromised. And they will say, come and start paying, and when we pick them, they are responsible. So it's a very, very dicey situation. But I believe that God will find a way to help us with our own way.
Yes. Let me ask you this final question. And it is, what strategic steps do you believe Nigeria or Nigerians must take from policy reform to private sector innovation in order to achieve full digital inclusion and ensure that no community is actually left behind? Because you mentioned something earlier, because of this whole security issue now you have discounted it. So what strategic steps do you think one can actually take for all of these things, to this reform, to make you able to even achieve your aim?
One of the major goal that we enable all of that factor that we help this happen is creating.
They keep talking about it, and I don't know how far we have gone in achieving.
Number one, when they are, and I will start with the topmost one.
Okay.
One inspection, security situation. When you are not sure if you are there or you are back, you are safe. You can't invest. You can't do anything else. I think that's more of creating a problem at this moment. People's safety must first be assured. One, investors' confidence is going to be eroded with their security situation. You don't want to put your money. If you don't put your money there and people are not ready to invest, you can't do it. So security situation is number one. Nothing thrives when security is compromised. You can take many other countries as an example. Nothing thrives when security is compromised. So that's number one. Number two, we go to policies that will ensure that all other apparatus are in place. And now this likely need to be done by God, which I think a lot can thrive on. It is now breaking those things to chocolates and getting them to work together. Those ones work with time, and I think Nigeria is making some positive efforts. There are dialogues about what we want to do. We are trying to galvanize different stakeholders, buy investors' confidence, bring in financial institutions, get expertise to come and begin to drive all this narrative. Just remember the first one. If the first one doesn't work, any other one is just like a table without leg. It will fall like a pack of cards. So the number one was work, then number two works. And if number two works, in terms of being able to galvanize this, we begin to see the game. And what we should do to latch on it is to do some sort of capacity building. So that at any particular point in time, there is no gap in terms of human resources that will get the job done. You know, as one generation is moving to the other, the new generations are taking over from them. And there is enough time for them to pass over the experience to these guys to be able to handle. And then we begin to grow the buckets. I think very likely these are some of the approach that the government and we as a country can do to be able to close this gap. And we cannot just be talking, I don't want to talk about just the infrastructure side today. We should look both at the infrastructure side, both the demand and the pull, and the consumption side. You know, when in digital economy, it's not just infrastructure. Infrastructures are there, but there should be other activity that stimulate the use of infrastructure. There is AI, there are people today, they are just content creators, they are creating their own content. See, data is the new oil. So I don't think there's anything these days that will be able to thrive. That will be able to drive without the digital economy. Okay, you can't do financial transactions if there's no data today. You literally cannot do anything.
Yes.
If there's no data. And for many people, or whatever you do, you need data or the digital economy to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Whatever you do today is resting on the digital economy. So it's the hub that carries the entire economy and is driving it. As I used to tell some of my team here, equity in digital assets is not charity. When you talk about digital equity, it's not charity. It's all about smart economics. Because for every one person that is connected, a new market, a new learner, and a new line of prosperity is created. So that is the hub that drives the success of any economy. So it is quite important for us to understand that the industrial age is gone. Currently, the digital economy is where we are, and that is where it's what is going to drive us to Eldorado. As I said, I was watching Strive Masuiwa. Strive Masuiwa is the owner of Econet, and he was talking as a thought leader on one platform where he said that in the next 10 years, he said, quote me, in the next 10 years, the next billionaires in Africa that will be ruling this country are people that will be using the power of digital economy, creating AIs that will solve solutions. And he said, write it down. That's what happened in the next 10 years. And I largely believe it's not something that we should begin to debate. It's something that I've come to stay. With that, any government of anybody will know where to put your line.
This is a very informative session with Dr. Tola Yusuf today. He made mention of something. He said the days of industrialization is gone. We are in the digital economy and it has actually come to stay. How we use it, what we do with it is all left for us. But before I let you off this, let me ask you one final question, Dr. Tola. You said the liberalization of the telecom sector.
Yes.
Is it a blessing or a curse?
Blessing.
Can you expatiate?
Okay. If I understand you very well,
yeah,
you are talking about the pre-2000,
Yes.
whereby all the power and everything was in the hand of 90.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's what I understand. The 090 time.
Exactly.
If you are not rich, you don't have access to communication.
You can't even call.
You can't do anything. The the one you have to roll this way.
I remember when I went to Radisson Blue, and then I was fortunate to see that phone.
Jay-Z cannot really.
I was just looking, I was not like, I thought, I actually thought it wasn't working. Man, the thing worked. I had to watch. It's working.
It works. So for me, those days, it was creating a mentality of communication is only for the rich. And it remains so till the liberalization during the Obasanjo regime in the
Came
year
in.
2000. But I see it as largely as a blessing. From that time till now, we cannot even undermine or overemphasize the gain. We cannot compare. Is it in terms of job creation? Is it in terms of knowledge? Is it in terms of wealth creation? Is it in terms of prosperity? In those early days, there is nothing called rural inclusion because urban is not even included. People in Lagos, how many people in Lagos have those phones? It's only in Ikoyi and then maybe there's no Lekki. I was still quite young too as well. Maybe Ikoyi, Victoria Island, Ikeja, and amongst only the rich or government offices. But from liberalizations to now, we can't even measure what the country has gained. And as far as I'm concerned, it's liberalized galore. Still ensure you create tools, apparatus that let people tap this oil. This is an unlimited oil. It is not contained by any what quantity are we having on the ground now? Have we finished mining this oil? No, because this is about being able to create solutions that solve problems according to people's thinking. So you give the full flare potential of different people to come to play and being able to create wealth. And not just create wealth in Nigeria, within the global village, whereby somebody can be here and earning multi-million dollars in the US, in Europe. It's the only way to go. In this 21st century, it is the only way to go. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a great
blessing. Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Tola Yusuf, for your time. So this is where we cut the curtain with Dr. Tola Yusuf. It has actually been an informative and educative time with him. And this is where we say, see you again, same time next week.